Let's do it for the SQLite database. The SQLite database codes are very big, so we have already developed them for you. I'll be showing them to you in a very systematic manner. First of all, let's go to the layout and see the layout of the SQLite demo. The layout contains the following controls. It contains the ID, the name, the code, the specialty, the buttons, and the list view. Let's go to the package and open the database handler class. Inside the database handler class, you have the SQLite database. The class extends SQLite Open Helper, and you have the context, the database name, and the database version. Then you have the database handler constructor. In the constructor, you are taking the reference of the context, the database name, and the database version. Then you are getting the writable database from the SQLite framework. You have onCreate and you have onUpgrade. These two functions are left blank because we don't want to do anything when the database is created or upgraded. Whenever someone says execute query, this will execute one query, which is insert, update, delete, or create. This will come over here. When someone passes the select query, he has to pass it to execute select. Whatever execute select will execute, it will give you a cursor. You will return this cursor with the help of db.query. The closed database will close the database. Then we'll be using this database handler class inside db3d information. Over here, we have kept the table name, the field ID, the field name, the field code, and the field specialty. We have defined the values for this by ID, name, code, and specialty. We have had the create query string. The create query says create table if not exist, the table name, field ID, integer primary key auto increment, the field name, the field code, and the field specialty. In the constructor of db3d information, we are first getting the database by saying db equals to new database handler. Then we execute the query on this database by saying db.execute query. We'll capture the context, the database name, and the version for future use. Then we will initialize all the fields, that is the ID, name, code, and specialty. Inside the insert function, we'll be having the insert query, that is insert into the table name, all the fields and the values. As you can see clearly over here, the field name is a string, so we have values, single quote open, the string is closed, plus name, and single quote closed. Okay. Similarly, the code also is a string, so we have a single quote over here. Similarly, specialty is also a string, so we have a single quote over here. Moving along, we have the update function. Update function is the same. Wherever we have update table name set, field name equals to in single quote the name, field code equals to in single quote the code, and field specialty equals to in single quote the specialty, where ID equals to the ID. Now ID is not a string, it's an integer. That is why we don't have a single quote over here. Similarly, for the delete query, we have delete from table name, where ID equals to the ID. Over here, ID is an integer, so you don't have a single quote, you have it directly. Then you have select all cities. In select all cities, you will execute the select on the table name. You will get the list of cities. Out of this, you will say if move to first, then you are on the first record. You'll create a new object. You'll fill in all the properties of the object, and you'll add the object to the list view or the array list, and you will be returning this array list from the function. So far so good. Then you have SQLite demo.java. In this, we get the references of all the controls. We define the database name and the database version. We create the object of the city information class. We create an array list for that, and we fetch all the cities from the object inside the array list, and we set the adapter of the list view to be of the array list type. So in this case, the toString method of the array list will be called, of this class will be called, and you will be getting the functions or the records in a comma format. So we have ID, comma name, comma code, comma specialty. Similarly, when someone clicks on insert, we will get all the information about the data, and we'll insert the data. We'll make all the fields as blank and we will get all the new records from the database and fill those records inside the list view. Okay. Over here we don't require the ID, so you can safely comment this out, because whenever you'll be inserting, the ID will be automatically incrementing. When you say update, it will say update on that. When you will say delete, it will delete the record. And whenever someone clicks on the item of the list view, then you will get the item in the form of the text view. You will convert that to a string. You will get the data by splitting it with a comma, and you'll fill that data inside the fields of the record. Let's try to run this thing and check the output of it. Right click, run as Android application. Let's come to the emulator. In the emulator, as you can see, there are no records right now. If I'll add a record, say Pune, let's add the code of this to be 022. Let's add, or 020, sorry, and let's add the specialty of this to be, say, IT Park. And let's insert this thing in the database. As you can see, the database has now been filled with 2 Pune 020 IT Park. When I click on it, the record will be coming over here. Let me change the code of Pune from 020 to 91020, where 91 is the code of India. And let's update the record. As you can see, the record will be updated. Let's add one more record over here with the name, say, Mumbai. Let's change the code of this to 022. And let's change the specialty of this to locals. Mumbai is famous for many things, but one of them is locals. So let's make it locals and say insert. It is inserted. If you will just drag it up, you will be able to see that you are getting the 2 records, Mumbai and Pune. Now if I'll add one more record over here, say Nagpur, add the code of this as 91712. The specialty of this as oranges. Okay, let's insert it. You'll be able to get oranges as well over here. Let me remove the city Pune from here. I'll just click on Pune and then delete. It'll delete it and it'll give me the 2 records, that is Nagpur and Mumbai. Even if I come back off the application and come back in again, then too I'll be getting all the records, because these records are stored permanently on my cell phone for a lifetime until I don't delete it.